Welcome back, everyone. Today we will be reading Chapter 6, so let's get into it. Chapter 6. They left the bookstore in 2 cars. A black Lexus SUV rolled up to the loading dock, and Lionel loaded the birdcage carefully into the back seat. Then put a seatbelt on it and climbed in the other side. Once they were gone, a white stretch limousine pulled up. It was still raining. "If I'd have known it was prom night," Pixie said, "I would have worn a dress." They piled in. The arrangement felt involuntarily intimate, like they were strangers who somehow wound up sharing a long cab ride from the airport. But they weren't strangers anymore. They were his comrades in arms now. Quentin wondered if their stories were as complicated as his was. He especially wondered about Plum. From what he knew of her story, it wasn't supposed to end up here. The ceiling was mirrored, and the interior was black velvet trimmed with strips of LEDs. There was a moonroof in case anybody felt the urge to open it and stick their head out. It wasn't exactly dignified, but there was plenty of room, and the 5 of them spread out along the banquets, so as to put the maximum amount of distance between them. Nobody spoke as the limo slid smoothly out into the New Jersey night, through the parking lot and onto the turnpike, past a seemingly endless power plant lit up with a grid of pale orange lights. For a second, Quentin was reminded of nights in the Muntjac, gliding from island to island on oily blackness, far out in Philary's eastern ocean. Seawater slapping wood, creamy wake streaming out behind. He was heading out into the unknown again. Then the LEDs came on. The kid had found the controls. He'd chosen a disco rainbow pattern. "What can I say?" he said. "I love the nightlife." "So," Plum said to the group in general. "I'm Plum." "I'm Betsy," said the pixie. "Quentin." "My name is Pushkar," the older Indian man said. He had a salt and pepper goatee and looked way too placid and suburban to be involved in something like this. Everybody turned to the kid. Quentin put him at around 15. "You're joking, right?" the boy said. "You're all going to use your real names?" "No," Quentin said. "We're not joking. And yes." "Well, I'm not. You can call me the Artful Dodger." The pixie, Betsy, cackled. "Try again." "What's wrong with the Artful Dodger? Like an Oliver?" "I know where it's from. I'm just not calling you that." "Well, I'm not going to be Fagin." "Maybe we should call you Stoppard," Quentin said. The boy looked confused. "I don't get it," he said. "Is that from Oliver?" "That is the name of the man who wrote the book that you were reading earlier," Pushkar said. "At the bookstore. Rosencrantz and Goldenstein are dead." "Jeez, I thought that shit was Shakespeare." "Well," Pushkar said pleasantly, "you thought wrong." "Fine, okay, I'm Stoppard. Whatever." "Stoppard, please set the lighting system to a neutral white." Stoppard huffed loudly, but he did it. In the white light, Quentin could see better, and what he saw was 5 people who didn't look much like a team of world-beating master thieves. He felt more like he'd just joined the French Foreign Legion. They were the sweepings of the magical world, the lost souls, here because nobody else would take them. When he leaned back, Quentin caught a whiff of skunked beer and dead cigarette smoke, the ghosts of bachelor parties past. "Anybody know where we're going?" Betsy said, studying her reflection in the ceiling. "If I had to guess," Plum said, "I'd say Newark." "You don't have to guess," Stoppard said. "We're going to the Newark Library International Airport Marriott." "How do you know that?" "I saw the guy put it into his GPS." Now that is some master magician shit, Betsy said. Right there. Damn. I was hoping for at least a DoubleTree. Of them all, she was the only one who really fit the profile. Lots of attitude, lots of aggression. And something else. She kept the banter coming, but she had the air of somebody who'd survived some tough breaks along the way. So have you guys done stuff like this before? Plum asked. She was showing a lot of persistence in keeping the conversation going. Like what? Stoppard said. Like stealing something? Like stealing something. Torrenting porn doesn't count, Betsy said. I have, Quentin said. Really? You have? Betsy had dramatic eyebrows. She knitted them skeptically. What have you stolen? A crown, some keys. Betsy didn't look impressed, grudgingly or otherwise. Anybody else? I've stolen things, Stoppard said. Like? Like I'm going to tell you. He opened the minibar, but it was empty. He slammed it shut. Cheap crow. Like you're such a big drinker. What are you, 12? It's not a crow, it's a blackbird, Plum said. Crows have black beaks. This one's was brown. The mood in the limo was slightly hilarious. They might have been a bunch of tourists in the same gondola passing a flask of schnapps around, and in another minute they'd get to the top of the mountain and ski off in separate directions forever. Except that they wouldn't. It was strange to think that he might have to trust these people with his life. Tell me, Pushkar said, who here went to Breakbills? What's Breakbills? Stoppard said brightly. Oh my God. Betsy looked like she was thinking about jumping out into traffic. It's like a mobile fucking breakfast club in here. I did. Quentin couldn't think of any reason to keep it a secret. I did. Plum shrugged. Sort of. The limo slowed down and went over a speed bump. They were almost at the airport already. So are we supposed to have specialties or something? Plum said. Is that how this works? I got the impression we were all supposed to have special skills or something. You're saying you don't have any special skills? Betsy said. Is that what I said? Probably I'm here because they want somebody who does illusions. I specialize in transport, Pushkar said crisply, and some precognition. Stoppard? Devices, he said proudly. Quentin tentatively tagged him as some kind of prodigy, or precocious anyway. That would explain his youth, and the special treatment from the bird. All right, Betsy said. I guess I'm offense, penetration, damage. What do you do, Quentin? She said it as if she were not completely convinced it was his real name. Not much, he said. My discipline is mending. Mending? Stoppard said. The fuck do we need somebody who mends shit? Beats me. You'd have to ask the bird that. Quentin very much doubted that was why he was here. He was doubting it more all the time. Fortunately, it was a short trip. The limo drew up under the lighted awning of the airport, and bellmen in cheap livery converged on it, probably hoping it contained drunk, heavy-tipping newlyweds. They were going to be disappointed. Cannot wait to get out of this thing, Betsy said. Speak for yourself, Plum said. I never went to prom. Lionel and the bird had reserved 3 suites. The 5 of them sat on a vast beige sectional couch in one of the living rooms, waiting to be briefed. Betsy paged through the room service menu. The bird pecked at some nuts from the minibar. A clutch of Heineken stood on the coffee table, and only Stoppard was drinking. From his expression, it seemed not impossible that this was a first for him. All right, Lionel said. Here's what we know. Here's what we don't know. He said he had the manner of a bored tech support guy explaining something very, very basic. He was standing by the flat-screen TV, which he'd unplugged. He touched it and an image appeared. He was apparently able to project them straight from his mind, which was a trick Quentin hadn't seen before. In this case, not the actual one, but same make and model. It was a handsome but unassuming leather suitcase, pale brown, pleasantly battered, very English, with lots of nice straps and clasps on it. It looked ready for a weekend in the country. So, we're looking for Bertie Wooster? Quentin said. Nobody laughed. We're pretty sure it's on the eastern seaboard. A map appeared on the dead TV, showing the eastern states with possible sites pinpointed and annotated. We're also pretty sure that the people who have it don't know what they have. As far as we know, they haven't been able to open it. Why don't you just buy it off of them? Plum said. If they don't know what it is, you obviously have plenty of money. We tried, Lionel said. They don't know what they have, but they're pretty sure they have something big, and they don't want to give it up till they've figured it out. They acquired it as part of a cache of artifacts from a dealer, who we presume they killed. Unfortunately, our attempts to purchase it from them have only confirmed their estimate of its value. Wait, Stoppard said. They killed him? Her. And yes. Stoppard's eyes were wide. He looked more excited than appalled. He took another hasty swig. One thing you don't have to worry about with these guys is your conscience, Lionel said. They're assholes. Major League. They call themselves the Couple. 2 photographs appeared side by side, a man and a woman, both good-looking and in their early 30s, evidently taken from some distance away with a long-range lens. They're manipulators. They work behind the scenes, messing around with the civilians. They get off on it. It's all a big game to them. Quentin frowned. He'd heard about magicians who did that, competed with each other to move the stock market, throw elections, start wars, choose popes. The mundane world was a big chessboard to them. Supposedly, the whole electoral debacle of 2000 was mostly a shoving match between 2 magicians who were trying to settle a bet. How are we going to find them? He asked. Don't worry about it. I still don't understand why you want this thing, Plum said. You don't have to, the bird said. We're not paying you to understand. Well, no, I guess not. It all seems kind of sketchy, though. Betsy cackled. Sketchy. I love that. You're talking to a bird in an airport Marriott. Betsy had a point. Quentin badly wanted to get Plum alone and ask her why she was doing this and what she knew about it, and if she was all right. He was worried about her, and what's more, he needed an ally, and she was the likeliest candidate. Betsy picked up the phone and began whispering confidingly to room service. You sure we don't need more people? He said. What about a psychic? A healer? I'm sure. What do you expect this all to... when do you expect all this to happen? Pushkar asked. How soon? Of them all, he looked the least like a master thief. He didn't look like a magician at all. Maybe it was camouflage. He certainly seemed to be the most comfortable with the whole situation. We don't know, Lionel said. Yes, but weeks? Months? I must notify my family. He was also the only one of them wearing a wedding ring. I'm not living in Newark Airport Marriott for months, Betsy broke off her phone conversation. FYI, or weeks, or 1 week singular. The only natural fibers in my room are the hairs in the bathtub. We'll tell you as soon as we know. So, to recap, Quentin said, 2 bad people, known killers who are, with respect, much scarier than we are, have a suitcase somewhere on the eastern seaboard, precise location unknown, contents unknown, under an incorporate bond, and we are going to take it away from them. We have the numbers, the bird said, and the element of surprise. If this works, I, for one, will be very surprised, Pushkar said carefully. Is there something you're not telling us? What about that incorporate bond? Plum said. How are we going to break it? What with that being impossible and all? We'll have to do the impossible, the bird said, which is why I hired magicians and not accountants. I mentioned resources earlier. We will discuss each of your needs individually. The meeting gradually disintegrated. Quentin stood up. They could talk about his needs later, whatever they were. For now, he needed some air and some food and maybe a drink to celebrate the beginning of his new life of crime. Something soft brushed his ear and prickled his shoulder, and he had to resist the instinctive urge to slap at it. It was the bird. Christ, he said, don't do that. Maybe you got used to it. Julia had. Do you know why I asked you here? It whispered, putting its beak right up against his ear. I could make a pretty good guess. It is not for your skill at mending. That wasn't going to be my guess. The bird flew off again, back to Lionel's shoulder, which Quentin now noticed was worn and stained with use. Plum agreed to meet him in the hotel bar. The lights were too bright, and there were too many TVs, but it was a bar. And that was another place, like bookstores, where Quentin felt at home. Drinks were a lot like books, really. It didn't matter where you were, the contents of a vodka tonic were always more or less the same, and you could count on them to take you away to someplace better or at least make your present arrangements seem more manageable. The other patrons appeared to be business travelers and tourists who'd been stranded by canceled flights. Looking around, Quentin was pretty sure there was not one single person in the bar who was actually there by choice. It was no time for half measures. He took a seat next to Plum and ordered a gin martini, dry, with a twist. I thought you were a wine person, she said. She'd ordered mineral water. Lately, I've had to up my dosage. I thought you were a wine person. I'm thinking right now I'd better try to keep my wits about me. They watched TV for a minute. A soccer game. The green pitch looked cool and inviting. It was almost a shame it was covered with soccer players. She didn't seem eager to go first, so he did. So, how'd they get to you? A letter, she said. When I got back to my room that night, it was already on my bed. I'm still trying to figure out how they did that. So far, it's the most impressive thing about this whole situation. Are you really sure you want to be here? Of course I don't want to be here, Plum snapped. I want to be back in my damn dormitory, finishing my damn senior year like a normal person. But that's not going to happen, so I'm just concerned about the risk. Well, me too. But I don't happen to have a lot of other choices right now. Don't worry about it. I'm not your responsibility anymore. I know that. And that's not your cue to hit on me. Jesus Christ, he said. Give me some credit. He was pretty sure that it wasn't really him she was upset with. He wanted to help her. His own transition from break bills to the real world hadn't exactly been graceful either. When he graduated, he'd thought life was going to be like a novel, starring him on his own personal hero's journey, and that the world would provide him with an endless series of evils to triumph over and life lessons to learn. It took him a while to figure out that wasn't how it worked. His martini came. A thick curl of gold lemon peel lay sunken in its silvery depths. It had spread a thin, oily sheen across the surface. He drank quickly before it had a chance to warm up. Look, I'm sorry, Plum said. I didn't mean to snap at you. God knows this isn't your fault. It's just, I'm having trouble. She shook her head helplessly. I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't told my parents what happened yet. I don't know how to do it. Break bills was a big, big deal to them. I guess they're kind of overinvested in me. I'm an only child. Do you want me to talk to them? She sized him up. No, I don't think that's going to help. I'm an only child, too. Though my parents were more like underinvested in me. Right, See, but for me, it's going to mess them up. But it's good that they care, Quentin said. I don't want to sound like a Pollyanna, but if they really love you, they'll love you whatever happens. Oh, they'll love me. Plum's voice was rising again. They'll love me all right. They'll just spend the rest of their lives looking at me like a sick bird with a broken wing that will never get better. She sucked fiercely at her mineral water through a straw. Then she went on. I don't know. Anyway, this came along and I don't know what I'm doing, and I thought I'd take a look. And here I am taking it. It's different anyway. What about you? Similar, Quentin said. I got a letter. I was going to ignore it, but then I found myself suddenly without employment. I was curious, and here we are. Don't get me wrong, she said. I do feel some responsibility for that. Forget about it. Seriously, forget it. Forget it. I made my own choices. He said it without heat. It was the truth. So, do you think we can pull this thing off? I have no idea, Quentin said. That bird is spending a lot of money. It has to be reasonably confident. Or reasonably desperate. Quentin could feel the martini doing its wintry work, frosting over his mind, slivering over his frontal lobes, preparing the ground for a proper hard freeze. He hadn't eaten dinner, and it was coming on fast. He thought he might just order another one. Do you miss Brakebills? She didn't look at him. On TV, a headed ball pinged off the crossbat. Of course I do, he said. All the time. But I'm getting used to it. It's not the worst feeling in the world, and there's a lot more to life than school. I'm trying to make the most of it. Now you do sound like a Pollyanna. Quentin grinned. It was pretty clear that Plum was going to get through this. She was young and unworldly, but she was also very tough and very smart. Maybe they could help each other. He caught the bartender's eye and tapped his glass. I'll tell you what I'm wondering about, he said. I'm wondering about how we're going to get that suitcase open, if the couple can't. I have a theory about that. I don't think you'll like it, though. Why not? Because I don't like it, Plum said. There's something about me you should probably... Choo-choo-choo! Somebody clapped them both on the back of at the same time. It was Stoppard. What are we drinking? He looked happy the way only somebody who was inebriated for the first time in his life could be happy. It was incredible that they were even serving him here, considering that he was both underage and overdrunk. He frowned at them blearily. Wait, he said. You two know each other or something? From before? You could say that, Quentin said. It's not what you think, said Plum. Uh-huh. Stoppard leered knowingly. It really isn't. I just ruined his life, that's all, Plum said. And mine. And I think maybe I'll have that drink now after all. That's it for this week. We will see you guys next week with Chapter 7.